Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Triple X as part of their custom monthly music review. Now switch over to here, we have ourselves a track from an act named Black Kirin titled Death Contract. As I understand it, this is about the invasion of China during World War II by the Japanese. So we're going to listen through this track from start to finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Interesting use of traditional woodwinds. My brain is like, is this a Sawona or something like that? Nice use of vibrato though, all the same. Great resonance on those floor toms. Heavy as hell, man. I mean, it's just such a phenomenal introduction to it. I know I've had very minimal vocals at this point. I think we're going to get the growlies in this track, but there's just... You got to appreciate the attention to detail with the various instrumental components within that motif. And that drum fill here. I love the combination of screams with the clean vocals, with that traditional vocal style. Like Chinese opera or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I just think, especially with the anthemic rhythm guitars, the drums, it's just so tight. And it's those little breaks when you know things are so loud that break it up really nicely. It's ferocious, dude. I mean, I wasn't expecting a solo this early, to be fair. We're just at halfway, you know? Yep, great variety of the stereo field here. Yeah, good placement. I mean, like, I just want to take a pause here to appreciate just how much we've had in 4.5 minutes. We've had 2 really well-developed verse and chorus sections. We've had several different solo points here with various different ways of approaching it, from like twin guitars to like the solo. And we're back to an interlude breakdown part. You know, that's a great use of real estate. Along with the sort of instrumental intro there with the... And it just keeps building. Great time for a key change. I'm actually getting goosebumps all over my arm at this point. That was incredible. It was so great how we had the cleans take over the focal point and really iterate upon that intro motif. So satisfying, dude. That was a stunning song. It's a really, really solid track. And welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track of an act from an act named Black Kirin, titled Death Contract. Chinese folk metal. I am blown away by that song. I think that it was stunning. With the understanding of the context of it from what we discussed at the start, if we level with each other, I think that the way the singers sung throughout this track, both from like the operatic sort of cleans that we had and some of the hook sections, to the growls and the shrieks and the all that aggression, the beauty combined with the kind of balls to the wall, anger, fury, all these vicious sentiments, they came together so sweetly. And it was one of the most successful pairings I've heard of that type of way of doing vocals. I think that it was almost, how do I describe it? It wasn't just a good song. It wasn't just a great vocal performance. I think it's damn near flawless. I mean, you'd have to probably understand the lyrics natively to really get the whole entire picture. But for me to be able to feel the way they sung like that, and I know feel is such a subjective thing, but for me to be able to feel the way that they sung without even understanding it and still getting emotionally affected by that, it's utterly incredible. And a lot of that comes down to the melodies and the vocal technique. Now, it was stunning vocal grit, vocal fry there. The way that we're doing all that kind of middle, kind of vocalist kind of stuff like that, that's solid technique. They're going to be able to do that for a long time because they're doing it properly. They're not just relying on their throat. They're using their whole body behind that. But the star of the show for me was the chorus motif there, that lady singer on top of everything else, on top of all the cacophony of the guitarist, bass, drums, all the strings, all the other instruments there, singing out over top like a beautiful songbird. And it was just gorgeous. And you can imagine the pain and suffering that the people would have gone through in that period, like with the invasion, and it's visceral. But it's like they managed to find a way to make it kind of capture your heart. If you just had the growly vocals, I think it would have been heavy and it would have been justified. But adding the two typesets, it's just special. So I think that those two were handled really well. The melodies we had, as well as the key change there, we explored our range eloquently, and it was very successful in that regard. There was just enough variety within this without me understanding the lyrics natively to be able to appreciate it, and that's full marks from me in that respect. The track outside of the vocals and the story at 7 minutes is long, but we just had so much going on. We had the typical verse, choruses, and various interludes, and some breakdowns, and some extra kind of like B section at the end there before the key change, with the big double outro chorus there with like the growls and then the cleans being the main focal point. We had several different solo sections, as well as some of the more kind of low key instrumental parts. We had the string plucks, the woodwinds, the string whole notes, etc. There is so much. This was an odyssey, dude. This was an incredible feat of songwriting and composition. It's such wonderful music. They clearly have a fundamental and complete understanding of music theory and composition, and they put it all on display here. And what sold it was that the performance itself was just, it was foolproof. Like it was so tight. The drums, a few of the highlights for me, the drums were just over the top. They were overwhelming. The complexity combined with the variety within the fills, grooves, and beats was just incredible. The guitar riffs with the various kind of lead sections, tremolo picking there, the solos with the more kind of lead voices kind of elements there, with the power chords and the alternate picking, and just the harmonies there and the way they went to the sides, to the center, to all that. So much diversity within the way they presented the strings. The woodwind was just so ethereal and kind of mystical sounding that it was a great foil to a lot of the other harder elements we have, which is why when the distorted guitars and drums and bass came in, they hit like a train, like a sledgehammer made of star matter, and it was wonderful. And I think that, in addition to that, just everything else, the bass, the other string parts, the plucks there, the amount of dynamic range in the track, just in general, it was all very satisfying, and it allowed for us to really just take it all in and just like have a nice, massive journey with this act, Black Kirin. I think that with the individual performances in mind, the overall theme itself was that of just trying to tell you the story, that the journey they went on, without it being too overwhelmingly vicious and brutal. There was an equilibrium between trying to make it almost hypnotically mesmerizing with those clean leads, but also anchoring how awful it was with the brutality of everything else. And those little bits of respite where they're getting the dynamic range shows, we come down and there's pluck. So just little moments of rest to kind of think about what we've heard. And I appreciate the effort put in there. Overall, the motif was very appropriate for the story and the vocals, and the instrument performance was stellar. The studio production, recording, mixing, and mastering, I'm not sure how this is going to come out when I actually edit it. I think there has been this was uploaded onto YouTube. I'm wondering if there was a little bit of extra compression added, because I'm seeing that waveform in my own OBS on the other monitor, and it's just a flat brick. So there might not be a lot of in much dynamic range as I thought there was in the post, but the vocals were nice and clear, as well as the screamed, growled parts. The guitar, bass, drums, strings, plucks, woodwinds, etc. were all lovely scattered alongside the stereo field, and nicely filled and EQ'd and notched in the frequency spectrum with no resonant frequencies. The leveling in the track was incredible. There was not a hiccup or a note out of place or a decibel out of place. There was dynamic range, even though I know that I think this version specifically, the re-upload might have less just because of bitrate compression artifacting. And, you know, with that in mind, though, it was nice and loud without pumping, so the limiting and bus compression was handled well. I mean, effectively, this is an awesome track from Black Kirin titled Death Contract, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show them some love via their various social medias and whichever digital streaming platforms you can find them on, and stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next SU Patrons video. Spiderhands out.